hitting. We got to keep building our toughness and whatnot, our tackling, the ability to stay on blocks, and all those things. But as coaches, we have to manage where we're at. So sometimes you're doing some things in the best interest of your team. So last night we had a scrimmage format. It was more for timing and where do we warm up, when do we warm up. We actually took our guys out to be our game captains and had the referee explain the coin toss and what he said. So it was a little bit more for the bells and whistles, and maybe it was like, hey, let's quote scrimmage or trying to show things or not show things. It was quote a mock game where we were scripting situations and whatnot. But coming out of preseason, again, I was very complimentary of our team going through the winter. Our staff and our players did a great job in the recruiting cycle and getting a good class. Our off the field leadership, behavior, academics have been pretty solid, and what you like and what you expect. Spring ball is, again, pretty good. When it gets very repetitive, mundane, it's not a game, but spring was good. Summer's on your own. We got strength coaches. We have 130 guys here. We're only about 105 on our preseason rosters. We have a bunch of new walk-ons wanting to join our team. And those aren't tryouts because as coaches, we can't even be here. But our strength coaches were. I would say the way we practice, it looks like we had a really good summer. We're not allowed to know if they passed the conditioning test, because then that means it's not quite on the way the rules are. So our teams came back in great shape. We appear to have improved our team with size and strength. I think with that, we'll hopefully be as quicker, because I do think there's some hereditary issues of how fast you can be, or how big you can be, or how strong you can be. But we have to develop and get these guys as good as they can be. And I think you'll see a team that's going to show some quickness and better speed. So I think summer appeared to be very, very strong. There was a huge commitment by our school. I think there's been a huge commitment by our kids to take advantage of summer school and our lifting program and whatnot. Preseason, some of you guys had a chance to see a couple of the practices that we had where you were able to get out there and see a lot of it. And I don't know how well you paid attention or what you look at when you're watching it. Those of you that saw those, appreciate you seeing those, and kind of appreciate too the way you cover it, because we're not sitting there trying to get information out to our opponents. Our first two opponents, we are their opener. So every bit of information we're given is going to Terre Haute, it's going to Annapolis. Those other people will get your game tapes and all that stuff. So I do appreciate the way you guys cover it. There's certain things that maybe we don't like to be, what plays we're really running, or who's looking good or not good. So I appreciate the way you guys kind of saw practice. But what you didn't see on the days that you weren't there was probably what you would have saw the day you were there. We had some pretty solid, pretty consistent practices. And I said coming out of spring, I wouldn't want to do over. And we ran some plays wrong, we repeated a play, or maybe we started stretch one day a little lethargic, and we had to holler at it for a second and pick your knees up and get it going. But we didn't have a sluggish practice day. I even had a couple extremely positive comments from the scouts being through that they couldn't believe the way we looked, and really appreciated the energy of the way the guys were practicing. Again, 2 days is a grind. So again, I think we've had a very productive 2 days. All that's talk until you start playing and the scoreboards reflect that. Now, just because I think we've done better doesn't mean we're going to do better. You need now to go out and we get into game mode. Today's the first of now game week, changing gears. So it's a little different sense of urgency and preparation, video preparation, get your body right, get your mind right. What's your routine? A lot of people call it superstitions, but what is your routine? What do you do? Where you eat? What pair of socks you like? You make it. Who tapes your ankle? What are you doing to be at your best for those 12, 13, 14 kickoff days? And one of those was approaching at 7:06, coming up on the 29th with Indiana State. But I thought preseason was good. Depth chart, we put it out today. Here's where we are. Again, we're pretty healthy except for the loss of Chase Hubler, who has a stress fracture. He's not been with us 1 day of preseason. That'll go through the bulk of the season, and we determine in time, does he get back at the end? He's a fourth-year kid that redshirted, so we will take his best interest into it. Long Hall's doing well. The stress fracture is going to take several months, so the best to be the end of the season, and maybe it cost this season. Dan Feeney with a Liz Frank injury that required surgery. We'll again take the bulk of the season. That's going to be a 5-month kind of deal that you'll get him back. January as we get started. February probably will be full go by spring. He was a freshman that played. He gets a red shirt here. We're losing a quality player, very good player, but also again one of the reasons you do play freshman. You do have those deals. This will be his red shirt year. We'll move forward with him. That being said, we'll need not just someone to come in and play the guard spot to pick it up, but any time as you go through the season, you're going to have in our sport a little bit of what I call hiccups or glitches along the way, and your team needs to pick up the slack. Coaches and players. It's just not who Anthony's replacement will be, and we'll talk about that. But other than that, we're pretty healthy. We've got a couple guys that we've kind of had to monitor some of their practice, whether it be, again, I'm coming off again ankle. We've had no broken bones. Maybe the guy's got his fingers taped together because he's dislocated a finger, grabbing hold of something or whatnot. So we're pretty healthy. We should be at full force, but depending on how much these guys that we've kind of monitored, how much practice work they get will determine how much you see them next Thursday night. So our 2 deep is, starting with the offense. We haven't even talked to the quarterbacks yet. So for me to tell you who's going first, I don't know. Don't know if we'll even know until Tuesday, Wednesday, and our routine Tuesday, Wednesday, which is Sunday, Monday, and see how the guys practice. All 3 have done well. The offense will not change. I've said that. And you guys have asked questions. Coach says it's not going to change. We're going to do what we do. Now, certain guys have certain strengths. There's certain things that Ted Bolzer does in route running that's different than Cassara. Certain things Cody Latimer does that's different than Stoner. Every player has strengths and weaknesses. But the gist of our offense is going to be what it's going to be. One, we're going to spread it out, but we'll be a little bit more multiple personnel. I think you might see some more multiple personnel groupings because we do have a little bit more depth at tight end, backs, and we're getting a little bit better fullback play. So you might see a little bit more personnel groupings. We'll still work tempo. Tempo doesn't mean we're going fast all the time. We'll use that as we need to. We have the ability to, and we've worked on the ability to even try to go faster. But whether we do, when we do, we don't try to be consistent. No matter what you do, if you do things, you're trying to keep the defensive off guard with play call, formations, where you're attacking them. Same thing with tempo. You don't want to be very, very slow. You don't want to be very, very fast. If you're doing something all the time, you're consistent. And the more consistent you are with what you're doing, defense can kind of hold in. So you kind of, pick your spots. But we'll continue to use tempo. We'll continue to spread around. What we've tried to do, was trying to help the defense, but really to help the offense. We've tried to work on the running game and to be a little bit more physical, and not just for short yardage when it's 3rd and 1 goal line. We just have some balance and toughness to incorporate play action passing, whether you're intermediate, deep, moving the pocket, you name it. So we've worked a lot on the running game. Quarterback situation, all 3 of those guys are very, very good. They're all a little bit different. And that being said, you guys say that we need to play more than one. Maybe we do because maybe they can do different things for us. At the same time, we're still kind of evaluating because no one's been the guy and no one's been Harbor. Again, Trey can make some plays with his feet a little bit better than the other 2 guys. But when he's in, it's not going to be a wildcat offense. We'll throw our deep and intermediate and read our defense, throw our hots and adjust protections, and he's going to play quarterback. And when those other guys are playing, if Cam's in, Nate's in, it's not going to be a throw-a-thon. Where it's pass. If it's a play that we need to incorporate the quarterback as a part of the run, we're going to do that. And so again, even though we have a 2 deep, I don't know how many times you're really going to say so-and-so is really the starter. Because I think on both sides of the ball, you're going to see pushing 44 guys. Whether it be 2 or 3 tailbacks, 5 or 6 or 7 receivers, 2 or 3 tight ends, probably 7 or 8 O linemen, 8 pushing 10 D linemen, probably 6, 7 linebackers on the back end, probably 6, 7 in the secondary. So you're going to see some guys playing. We got a little bit better team, we got more depth, we got a lot of competition, we got some proven guys. Practice has been great. We got to prove it out here when the scoreboards, lights are on, the scoreboard's playing. Who's going to make those tackles, make those shots, and make those blocks, and score those points, and make those kicks when it's for real. So again, quarterback, we'll see how it plays out. Not being coy, not hiding anything from Indiana State. Running back, good camp by all guys. LeRae Smith basically had like some welt on his back or a brain. And he's got a, he couldn't practice a couple days, we got a wound, it's just, so it doesn't get infected. So he's full go, and